Alley Center and other activities in the schools to try to improve access to computing, which is a big issue. And there's $70,000 worth of mini grants, which these are going to be $2,000 to $5,000 grants that can be made to schools or to community-based organizations to begin to do things that are so specifically considered. And then there's the issue of starting up the training effort that I just described. The whole goal here from the program that we proposed to is essentially to use these efforts to try to get more citizens and residents of Holyoke into educational pathways that will lead them into IT jobs in the long run. So I have to say, we got an awful lot of support from the community. The organization is really, the PIs are just partly the way the 5 colleges is set up, but it's really the management team. So there are representatives on there from the 5 colleges, from Holyoke Public Schools, from the 5 college K-12 partnership, and Red Elves, who was one of the panelists from the workshop, who I mentioned earlier as having been the outreach person for Cornell, Rice, and San Diego, has agreed to come on for 6 months to a year and help shape this activity and help hire a permanent person, which I'm hoping that I'm looking at Jeff, this Jeff. I'm hoping that the High Performance Computing Center then would pick up this person that we hire under this grant as a permanent community liaison person. But the importance of this is that this is really like I always used when I used to be department head. I used to take the list of people in the department, with me as department head at the top, and tell them the organization really went this way. The steering committee is going to not only do strategic planning, but they're going to control the investment portfolio. I didn't say this in the proposal, but it's kind of the Massachusetts model of a select board, the management team, and a planning board, the GHPCC team, and the town meeting, which is the steering committee, and nothing gets done without the approval of the town meeting. So this is to put the community of Holyoke in charge of what goes on. And if we can start this early, then it'll be in place, and the center will have to pay attention.
What's the timeline for MSF evaluation and decision making?
I'm hoping, so the proposal went in yesterday. The decision will be made sometime in the next couple of months, and then I think this fiscal year's money, which means sometime before the 1st of October. Well, so any questions about that proposal at all? And we have 13 letters of support from all of those organizations that are on there, which in putting this together in 2 weeks was a pretty amazing thing, and I really thank the people at Holyoke for the level of support for this.
I have a question.
Yep.
Unhappily, I didn't make the event that you convened in Holyoke, and sort of began with this cast of experts, many of which that have worked in the high-performance computing centers that exist right now across the country. Can you give us some specific examples from them about how their high-performance computing center is leveraged to advantage in San Diego or in Pittsburgh, so that we can sort of get our heads around that, rather than what might possibly be crafted, what is in some of these other places?
Let me try to avoid picking on some of the supercomputer centers, but I think Pittsburgh is for example, you mentioned that one. Pittsburgh is noted for being one of the best deliverers of cycles of any center, but they don't do much other than be a computer center. So they've never had, as far as I understand, very much community-based activity. They're really run by Westinghouse, and on behalf of Carnegie Mellon and the University of Pittsburgh. I'd say the better models are probably San Diego, CSA, the Illinois Supercomputer Center, RENSI, the center in North Carolina. So let me take up RENSI because there was a representative there from RENSI. So RENSI was started up, and not unlike the model here, by UNC, Duke, and North Carolina State University, and involves, I think, maybe another 10 or so universities and colleges around the state of North Carolina. North Carolina, can't exactly remember the reasons, wired up every public school on a statewide network. So RINSI is able to provide its services to every public school in the state by leveraging the network the state had already built.
So could we do that?
We would have to wire up every public school in the state.
No, seriously, could we do that?
Well, I mean, I think there was a state investment that was made before RINSI came in, and here the issue is kind of pushing Verizon and Comcast and so forth to provide that kind of, and that's sort of outside of my area. That's
true, but at the same time, we're working on that very issue in terms of
yes, the broadband. Yes, they were actually
to Trump, particularly in Western Mass, where we have the biggest issues vis-a-vis broadband access. So again, I'm trying to think futuristically, if that were all to fall in place, big question, but we're trying to make it fall in place, then there's a possibility. I guess I'm trying to, again, get out of the box of what this is going to do for the higher education consortium and what it's going to do for the city and for this region. That's what this whole group is about. And overall, we can all see the merits and celebrate the president of this higher education institution. Selfishly, we're looking for what this can do beyond the academic performance being at the highest level.
well, I mean, I think it looking. I was going to
say, I mean, the RENSI model is very interesting in that regard, but I mean, there are a lot of pieces to it. It's not like, you can just do that. You kind of have to start somewhat smaller and then grow. I mean, RENSI goes back 8 years now, I think, or something like that. So it's, it's taken a while to get where it is, but it does provide a kind of center of gravity as well as servicing some universities in Carolina. It provides a center of gravity for larger scale services to actually still this kind of educational side of things. There are a small number of, I think, industry involvements as well, but but this notion of kind of a virtualized resource for education that then goes statewide is, they've pioneered that very aggressively. It's very impressive. It'd be great to think about doing something like that in Massachusetts, but as Rick says, there's a lot of steps to doing that.
Of course.
I think what you have to do is find how you can link opportunities together. RINSI's been good at doing that. And so if the broadband initiative in the state is able to move forward to try to broaden access to everybody, then that's something that the center could connect with, and then both efforts would gain. But I think you need to sort of identify those, and that's what we were trying to do with this proposal. There's an awful lot going on here already. And so why don't we, instead of trying to reinvent a whole new set of programs, why can't we just reconnect with those programs and come up with a joint orientation towards something that leverages both sides?
Yeah, I'm trying to connect what you all are sharing with what we're about to do, which is hire a consultant or consultant to figure out how to leverage. So intelligence from the centers that exist, good or bad or indifferent, I think is helpful in terms of